Hey guys, first of all, I wanted to thank you guys for being here. I know how hectic the end of the semester gets, so I appreciate you using your time to come to this workshop. We have Jason Engle with us today. He's our director of the Career Center. And Jason, I will hand it off to you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, like she said, guys, thanks for coming in. Today we're gonna just look at a resume workshop, talk about resumes more than a workshop actually creating them. But it gives you a general idea of what to do, what to look for when building, and some general advice. Always keep in mind you can come into the Career Center, schedule an appointment with us. We'd be happy to look over the resumes that you've already created, create new ones for you. Talk a little bit about cover letters and any opportunities that you're interested in to applying to. Let me share my screen and then we can get going. Let me know if you all can see it. Good. All right, let me move the little pictures up here. All right, so resume workshop. So keep in mind, it's not the most entertaining presentation out there, right? But the information is really valuable. We're all here at the university to get into the field of our choice, right? To get a job. And let me tell you, even in my career and a lot of others and colleagues, even professors, faculty, it's really hard to get a job, y'all. There's one position, right? And a lot of different applications. And it's really actually hard to get an interview, and that's what this resume and cover letter kind of allows us to do. Just get us past literally the first step into an interview where you could really to show your pretty faces, your personalities, your experiences. And so that's what this resume obviously is here to do. So how to write a college resume. So on the right here, you can see a little picture. You can write this down. Again, we have examples here in the Career Center office of what a resume kind of looks like on the template. And so we got our name, who we are, a little bit of contact information. It's the resume header. Now we can put, we usually do our phone number as well. Obviously, I didn't put that on there here because guys don't need to know my cell, but place a phone number there, an address. You can really, the address is just the city and state that you live in. Or as you all know, with Zillow and all the AI out there, we don't need them zooming into our house, or I don't need them seeing that still picture of me on Google sun tanning in my front yard, so definitely just a city state. We have our summary, our profile, our summary here, which explains who you are, your passions, what you can bring to an organization. And that's really important section, y'all, especially because you are entering the field with, I would say, less experience than most professionals, right? Going for their second, third, and fourth jobs. And so profiles are really important. We have our education section here, which is also very critical. We spend 4 years, right? 2 years in associates, 4 years at a bachelor's, and all our experience is really in our education and what we've done. And so I'll show you some important pieces to the education profile. But really the education section is gonna highlight your resume. We have the employment history section. Here you can place employment stuff. You can also place internships. We have that on the bottom here, but feel free to place that in the employee history. Obviously our dates of where we worked in the city or the location. Our skills section, where we can list different skills, certifications that you all have, as well as languages. If you are proficient or highly proficient, as we see here. Now, I wish that I was highly proficient in French, German, and Dutch, or I would have a lot higher paying job than I do now. So if you speak a different language, it's critical to put that on there, but be careful, y'all. I honestly, to get this job, I've went through and been in charge of a lot of searches and hired a lot of people. And we have had some instances where people have said they speak Spanish or they're highly proficient because that job calls for Spanish speaking abilities. And even just a couple months ago, one job we really needed a Spanish speaker in that job, and I actually had a colleague that spoke fluent Spanish come in just to get some dialogue going with that individual, and it got kind of embarrassing, right? Because she kind of lied and she could speak a little bit but wasn't fluent, and it was a really awkward interview from that point on, and obviously we didn't select her to move forward. So if you speak a different language, make sure you really do speak it, and that's important, as well as, like I said, internships or anything that you've done in the past. So there are some do's and don'ts. Obviously, we want to make sure we have our sections highlighted very neat and orderly. Summary, education, skills, like I said. We want to make sure we're placing job relevance and relevant things in our resume. I'm not even joking. A couple weeks ago, I had someone that was going for a marketing position that actually placed a hobby in his resume, that he was really good at Apex Legends, and I had to tell him, dude, that's dope. I play Apex, but probably not the best thing to place on a resume. So just things that are relevant, and again, make sure that layout and design, especially for our marketing folks, they always like to put some cool things on those resumes. But really, you'll have opportunities in your interviews to give them portfolios and things that you've done, but on the resume itself, keep it really, as I kind of call it, bland and simple, especially because it is your first job going out to get. And we want that to be really simple, and because really, especially even for myself, I was just on a admin assistant job board, and there was 350 applications, right? And I had to go through each and every one of them, and I spent probably 15 seconds on each one. So if they're not neat and orderly and I can read down the lines for min quals, I pass them on really fast. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to talk a little bit about applicant tracking systems. Applicant tracking systems, they're used with a ton of different companies, and even smaller companies. They're used here at CSU Pueblo as well. Applicant tracking systems are literally AI generated systems that look at keywords in your resume, right, to see how well a fit you are for that job. And if they don't see any keywords in those resumes, they will kick out your resume so fast, and you won't even hear from that employer. Right? You could probably ask Ryan or anyone of your family members of how many of the typical story of, I've applied to 50 jobs and I haven't even got any. And a lot of the times they do one resume and they just spray it out there. And really the reason is because your resume should really be custom to every single job that you're applying to, because usually applicant tracking systems are looking at those, and most likely a lot of those individuals, they're just getting passed through and never to be seen again, really. So while you're looking at to get to the next rounds, really look at the job description, look at the websites, and find keywords and aspects to place in that resume so you can at least get through. There are different methods, like I said, to get through these, and really it's just finding that terminology. And a couple things I like to do is definitely I take the job description and I really, have you guys heard Nick, since you have your camera on, hey, you've heard of ChatGPT, right? You know, those AI systems.
Yeah.
Dude. So what ChatGPT, dudes, is a really cool way. All you have to do is go on ChatGPT. Literally, you can put in the URL of that job description, or place in the job description into ChatGPT, and you can literally tell the chatbot, please let me know the words that are repeated the most, right? And it'll start listing out pretty quickly all the words in that job description that you need to really look at and place in your resume. So look at those job descriptions, and y'all, dudes, ChatGPT, back, I've been doing this for over a decade now. It would take me like an hour and a half, to really look over someone's resume and help them build it and all these different things. ChatGPT has like, I can do it now in like 20 minutes, using AI. So you use what we have in the 21st century and use that up. Method 2 is go on the website, right? Every single job that you're going to have, every institution has mission statements. They let you know what they're doing in the community, their big strategic plans. Look at those, and then not only place those in your your resume, but also really format your cover letter to include those mission statements. And I promise you, 90% of the time, you're going to get a call back, okay, to at least get into a first interview cycle with companies. If you do those two things alone, and there's no grammar mistakes, obviously give your resume and things to the writing center. Make sure, we over here look at content, but I'm not a grammar guy. I write well, but I'm not an English professor or know English perfectly. So go make sure you look those over. But those two methods, I promise you, you will get interviews. So choosing the best resume format for a college student. So we have two, there's a lot of different formats, y'all, and we can show you here in the Career Center, but the two that that I like to see the most, and which most recruiters like to see the most, is chronological and functional. So chronological resume format, that's really for those that have had a professional experience in the past, right? You usually want to always use a chronological resume, our format, detailing, going for your second, third, fourth jobs, right? And so it's not really typically seen too much, especially for students going into their first professions. But chronological resume formats really is what it is what's your most present job you're in now, and then it goes back in time of the jobs that you've had in the past, right? And it's really familiar to recruiters. It's easy for them and myself, all right, because I'm on a lot of job boards to process through. Like I said, on that last job, I had 350 applications. I literally, because it was in chronological order, it allows me to see very quickly the applicant's story, who they are, their experience, and what they can bring to our university. There's a lot of templates that guide you. If you go online, again, AI is dope. If you go online, you can get some really cool guides and examples and templates to put your experience on the paper. Demonstrates contributions you made at previous jobs. So it allows me to see those contributions, the job descriptions that you've done. Allows me to see on what you're experienced in. What kind of other companies or what other places that you've worked for that is similar to the field that I'm recruiting for. And again, a resume is literally just a story of career progression, right? So it tells a quick story about you, and it helps me place you in an interview slot. Again, there's always positives and negatives. So the negatives of chronological, but negatives are just true aspects, right? Of who you are, is it reveals gaps in your employment because you're placing the dates of which you've been employed, right? So when I'm looking at resumes, I'm going to see, why did Sloan or Nick or anybody, why did you have 2 or 3 years, right, that you didn't work, or you didn't have anything there? Now there's always things that come up, life in general, right? Maybe mom and dad or someone got sick and you needed to move to a different city to take care of them. There's a lot of different things, and you'll get chances to explain why there's gaps, but it does reveal that you've been out of work for a little bit. I would say for our generation, guys, because kind of like you guys, I'm older than y'all, right? But I'm still younger compared to some faculty and people in their 40s and 50s and 60s. Job hopping. Right, it's really so a lot of our generations, we stay at jobs for 2-3 years and we move on. Now I always say, plan when you get a job, y'all, plan to stick in that job unless it's so bad, right? And your mental health is so bad that you really need to get out, but stick to a job. Make sure you're committing to that job for 2 to 3 years. And the reason I say that is because even for myself, and you can ask Ryan or anybody, when you get a job, it takes about a year to really understand that job, right? To really understand the job descriptions, the job duties that you're doing there, and to be considered someone knowledgeable in that position takes about 12 months. And then I always say it's the second and third year is all about that position progression, right? What are you doing in that job, and what initiatives did you put into that job to make that job better? Yeah, better. Right. And what kind of contributions you made to the organization to to make people understand that you made that job better. And so job hopping for sure. I do not like to see someone going from working for a year or two, and then another year or two, and then another year or two. Really, because as the employer, the guy that I'm hiring as a director, I put a lot of time and effort in training my staff, going to conferences, learning our systems and software. And it puts me out a long time when they move on, right? Because I have to go through another 3 or 4 month cycle into getting someone else hired. And again, another year to teach them how to do the job well and to put their stamp on it. And so when I see job hopping, it turns me off really fast. Okay, so just keep that in mind. It's that the resume is going to show that. And if you're changing careers, right? So again, chronological is not the best for someone entering the field, but if you're changing careers from marketing and now you're going to go be a nurse, there's not a lot of things in the nursing field that you've had experience in being a marketing person. And so you might not want to use this chronological format for changing complete careers. So here's an example of at least the employment history on our chronological. We have the dates that we worked, and it's the most present, right, to the title, the job duties here in the city that you were in. And then before that, now I see from 2013 to 2015, your job before that. And again, it tells me the story of you and your job progression. The second one is a functional resume format, the one that I would say that you all should be really looking at, especially for your first professional, full-time positions. So keep good notes here. Functional resume format. It's easy to create without much experience to go off of. Okay, it allows you to highlight your personality traits and explains what you're good at, more than hard details about specific things that you've done in a job description. It's an option for students and recent grads. It used to change careers and showcase transferable skills. So we're at your first jobs, we're looking at what skills am I good at, and what skills can I highlight on the resume to bring to that organization. Okay, so it's really critical. And it's the best way to highlight education and abilities, again, with no work experience. So if you've taken nothing, there's a lot online. Write down functional resume formats, okay? And I'm going to be doing a lot of water because I'm speaking a lot, so I appreciate your patience with that. So functional resumes, there really is no employment history section to highlight previous positions. Like I said, right, we haven't had any employment in the past, so there's really not a lot there. It does make you look like an early career candidate, but guys, I hire all the time for entry-level positions, coordinator jobs, admission counselors, right, coordinators in the alumni and fundraising offices. I already know the position is entry level. So if I see a functional resume, then I already know, like, this is a person that's entering the field and this job is going to be perfect for them. Less ability to show hard skills and lessons learned on the job. But that's, again, okay. I'm more interested on the skills that you're going to provide and what you think you're good at. It's not favored by employers for certain roles. And what that means is certain roles is this is not a resume that you do for your second, third, and fourth jobs or middle management positions, right? I want to know more of the story on those levels. At the entry level, not so much. So again, not the best for certain roles, especially in middle management, and stands out as a candidate who doesn't have experience in the exact field. Here's a example of a functional resume format. So we have our profile. Again, it's critical to explain who you are. But you see here, instead of the history, you're going to tell the experience that you've had in internships, work study positions, non-work study positions. And so Georgia Carter here, she instead of putting a legitimate job, she says she's really good at administrative management, and she lets me know what she's done in her internships or wherever what she's done on why she feels she's the best at administrative management, customer service as well, right? So I know that she's good at customer service, and she tells me why she's good at customer service roles. So here, guys, I think it's really important to, again, just like the languages, to really think about what you are good at, right? I mean, I know that's harder said than done, but what are you good at? And make sure you put that on there. Don't just put down a lot of different things, right? And I'll give you an example. Right now, I'm hiring an assistant director for my division, right? That's going to have a lot of supervisory skills. And although assistant director of career services on that position description, it has a lot of different things in sales, HR experience, some marketing experience, supervisory experience. It has a lot of different things. But for me, I need someone really good at marketing, okay? And if I see anyone here in the next week that applies to that job, even though there's only maybe a couple dots on that job description that says marketing, if I see someone place marketing as something that they're good at in the experience section, dude, I'm going to be really pumped, right? I'm going to put that application at the top of my list. I'm going to be excited for that interview. And they don't know that, right? I mean, on that job description, there might be only 2 bullet points and a host of other things I need them to know. But someone that's good at marketing and their experience is going to get preference on that job. Now, again, be careful, because if, let's say, Georgia places marketing, right, and I'm pumped about that interview, I'm going to ask them specific things about, okay, what do you know about marketing? Because I'm excited. I need someone good at marketing. What do you know? What kind of projects? What kind of systems? And let's just say they just haphazardly put that on there because they felt it looked good, right? And then that interview comes and they're kind of blabbling all over the place. They don't give me hard things of why they're good at marketing. Again, that's going to be embarrassing. Probably not going to select them. So place things that you know that you can speak well on, and that you have legitimate experience doing. Again, education, internships, we list our skills. There's a lot of different templates that you can use to list. These pictures I feel like aren't probably the best for these examples. Again, you're probably not going to do a picture. This skill section can be placed over here because we just want a very basic resume template and make it easy for employers to kind of see what you're good at. But that is the example. We're going to talk a little bit about the resume header. This is really easy. I won't talk much on this, y'all. Name, who you are, contact information, phone number, in the city and place you live in. You just want to let them know how to contact you. Summary. This and the education I said is so important, right? It really gives a good idea of who you are as a person. So I read a lot of resumes, but when I see really good summaries, I have a vision in my head about who that person is even before I speak with them. Okay. So make sure that you really showcase yourself well in a really well-written summary. And it's so key. Who you are, what you bring, what you're good at, what you're good at will come back and help that organization. And a lot of times you can get summaries as well and kind of tailor it again to that organization's mission, or tailor it somehow to the place that you're working for. So basic rules and tips, I'll just read these really. Describe the personal qualities you think are appropriate for the industry and position. Inspire the future employer's confidence that you'll do a good job for them. Use action verbs and energetic positive language. Okay, y'all, you'd actually be surprised. This is really important, especially on cover letters and interviews, right? Be positive at all times, right? Try not to bring negative experiences that you may have had and probably learned from other positions. Maybe you had a bad supervisor, a bad experience in the other job. I don't care. Don't talk about them, right? Because you want to be a positive person and someone really excited to hire you. So always place action verbs and energetic and positive language in everything that you do. Sprinkle in 2 valuable skills. Like CRM, software knowledge would be critical for an office manager job. So just sprinkle in some things that you're good at, and then mention 1 or 2 aspects of your work life experience that show you're productive and determined. So summary example number 1, a passionate historian with 3+ years experience working as an academic research assistant at CSU Pueblo. Key responsibilities including analyzing historical documents and painting from the Renaissance period for authenticity and properly storing, preserving, and displaying these artifacts. Assisted the university museum curator in the acquisition of 14 new historical paintings, including Vivaldi. So this is someone with experience, right? That's have internships and those kind of things. Now, example 2 kind of lists, okay, what does someone with maybe no experience look like? A young professional with excellent interpersonal skills and light experience in archive analysis and archival data management. Freshly graduated, but with existing skills from part-time work, history projects, college initiatives, and numerous extracurricular activities. Determined to be an asset to any curator team by providing positive experiences and impressions for clients. Possesses certificates in United States history and world history from university seminars. So these 2 examples are history students applying for jobs. Definitely summary is critical. Academic profile. So an academic profile, again, you have 4 years, and this is your most experience that you've gained. I would hope in 4 years you've done a lot, right? And I always say too, that it is so freaking impressive, bachelor's degrees. I have a master's and terminal degrees, right? And although the curriculum was harder, in my mind, the hardest degree to get is a bachelor's degree. Why? Because it takes 120 freaking credits. It's ridiculous to get it. It takes 4 years. And for people that are working full time that need to maybe split that in half, it could take 8 years, right? So it shows your discipline. It shows that you're committed, you can get things done. And so really hype yourself up on that academic profile. Use action verbs that convey movement and energy. Write descriptive statements in your education setting. And so 1 adaptable example. So a lot of students, y'all, they follow like what, professionals do, right? They always list, you can see here, they always list the year they graduated, the school they went to, the GPA. Again, y'all, if you have a good GPA, I would say 3.5 and above, put it on there. If you don't have a good GPA that's below 3.5, not a deal breaker whatsoever, but probably don't list it. Just list that you graduated or the expected date of graduation. But here's what I'd like to see you all doing, okay? Again, not only do I know you graduated, but put a course, right? Nick, Janelle, and Amelia, Sloan, we all have classes, I would hope in 4 years that you really liked, right? That maybe you put some more effort in with the papers that you wrote, and you were really passionate about 1 or 2 or 3 classes, right? And if that's the case, right, put down the course, the time you took that course, and then tell me. I wrote an 11-page paper on the triumphs of Alexander the Great, right? And it was published in a journal for historical studies, right? Studied Alexander and Macedon's life from 356 BC to 323 BC, detailing minor and major accomplishments from a few days old until death. Now, obviously, this is geared to a history student or something, but if you guys are in marketing, business, you're going into social work, right? Whatever it is, place what you're passionate about, because then I can even ask you questions in that interview of why you were passionate about that and how those passions and how those papers really are going to show in the position that I'm going to hire you for. Okay. Same thing. Another course example, wrote a 10-page analytical paper on Chestertown Tea Party, right? So whatever it is, make sure that you're placing what you've done in your academic career and not only just listing the place you went to school and the year you went, right? I think that's really important. And again, it gives you and the hiring manager things to think about of why Nick or Sloan are really passionate about the field that they're entering into. Resume example sample. So the history of employment, again, we don't have much, but you can place internship experience, summer, temp jobs, social initiatives, volunteer work, self-directed or community projects. Okay, y'all, for example, so I had a dude come in to the office and his resume wasn't much. And I said, there has to be more that you did, from 15, 16 years old to now 20, right? And he told me he did a lot of different things. One example was a lifeguard, right? And so I told him, come back, place lifeguard in there and let me know the attributes there. Well, give yourself credit, right? As a lifeguard, even just as a lifeguard, you have to learn medical terminology. You have to learn how to keep people calm in positions that maybe someone's drowning, and you have to be really good at keeping your calm and how to deploy your training to save an individual's life. He, as a lifeguard, he did teaching sessions on how to teach people how to swim, but really break that down, right? He had to learn a curriculum. He then had to take that curriculum to little children, right, and place them in water and teach them how to the points on how to swim, how to speak with fathers and mothers. There's just a lot, break down the things you've done, because there's a lot there, right, that you can speak about on everything that you've done up to this point that's going to make you a good person to hire, right? And it's a time that you're selling yourself. And so even if it's dog walking, I don't care, break it down. And I promise you, everything that you've done, you can sell yourself on getting skills that's going to make you a great fit for the job that's coming to. The other really amazing things I'd love to see all, and if you haven't done so, or do something this summer, it doesn't have to be long, maybe a day at the soup kitchen, but self-directed or community projects, right? Allows me to see that you care about the community, okay? Yeah, you're down to volunteer your own time, and it shows me that you're just a good person, right? And if you're willing to do that for the community, that I already know that you're going to be someone that's coming into my office that's good-hearted, right? And so do some community projects, volunteer, whatever it is, and place that on a resume, y'all. And I promise that's going to always look good. And speak about why you chose the volunteer work you did, right? Another great aspect to sell to an employer. So we talked about a little bit about the academic profile. Place the classes that you've done. If you have actually experience in an internship or you've worked with a faculty member, some examples here: served as a classroom assistant, helped with the head teacher plan and deliver lessons by history of the United States and the world for a day, week, semester, and year to students utilizing creative and engaging techniques. So I will send this presentation to you, to Rianne, so she can send it out to y'all. So you don't have to write too much down, but there's some examples for you to place on bullet points in your academic profile if you have done some work while you've been educating yourself. Skills section. So I like the skills section, and this is really important too. It's all really important, right? But I like this this portion because I even do this myself. Skills, again, just like the languages, or just like the profile, place skills that make you special, right? Again, not everyone's going to have marketing on their skills, but for this upcoming position, if I see marketing, that's awesome. But what I'd like for you all to do is called a free form document, right? And I would sure hope so, but we're not the same person, and our skills aren't the same as we are from our first year here at the university to the end, right? We are constantly gathering skills. We are honing in skills to become better at certain things. And so it's called a free form document. I have that for myself. I list skills that I feel like I'm really good at, and I've been doing this for the last like 8 years. And I'm in my like, I don't even know, 7th job now. Every job that I complete, I really look back at that job and I say, what skill, like legitimate skills that I pick up from that job that I didn't have before, and I go to my free form document, just a Word doc, Excel doc, whatever you want, and I place those skills in the areas that I've done in the past that makes me feel like I really enhance those skills. And it allows me to look at job resumes or job descriptions or jobs that I'm applying for. And if I see different things on that job description that align with the skills that I have, I immediately have a list already tailor-made for myself that I can include in that job description or in that cover letter, right? And so it's really important because at the end of the day, again, I started work 13 years ago. I have a hard time remembering my first coordinator job in higher education 13 years ago at UCLA. You know what? I don't remember the day to day, but I do remember the skills that I picked up because I put them on my free form doc. And so it's just a really good pattern to get into to do that. And then use industry knowledge. Again, industry knowledge is just knowing the mission statements, know the field that you're getting into, and use those key terms in everything that you do. And not just the cover and the resume, but believe me, y'all, when I'm even for this job, when I was interviewing with the provost and a lot of different directors and faculty, I need to learn. I know the industry keywords in higher education in my interview, right? And so really just make sure that you're going on, looking at their mission statements, memorizing those words so that when you're interviewing, they feel like you really understand the industry. We talked about analyzing the job description. So resume layout, design, and format. Again, the design principles, I'm going to make this really easy. Make it simple, right? Take a template, make sure you have your sections. Again, I'll send this presentation for Renee. You guys can always come into the career services office. We'll build it for you. But I'm going to just say, keep it simple. And then as like you're going into your 4th and 5th job, and by that time should be middle management in whatever field you're doing, then you can, start being a little bit more creative and adding more to the resume. But at the beginning, keep it simple. So key takeaways, I'm going to go through each one of these and then I'll be done, y'all. You can get an awesome job as a college student. Your college student resume is hugely important instrument for that. Obviously, the summary section provides the best opportunity for your college student resume to stand out and show your personality. Keyword in that, show your personality. Each one of you are so unique. You come from different backgrounds and you're passionate about a lot of different things, right? And so it's really cool for me to kind of understand and get a picture of who you are before I even interview you. The education section is a focal point for most college student resumes. That is a critical section as well. Put as much as you can in that education section, not just the school and where you graduated from. Again, there's one position for for one job, right? And how many freaking schools are there in the United States, let alone the world, that people are graduating with a bachelor's degree, right? So make sure that education section really is thought out. Lack of professional experience is not a deal breaker. Your resume skills section will be defined by the job you're pursuing with a specific industry. I'll say it with enthusiasm 100 times. Tailor it to the job description and your knowledge of the industry. I promise you, you'll get an opportunity to interview. If you spray your application out to Indeed.com and you spray it, you will go, you could send 100, you won't get calls, right? Tailor it, it's key. Format the keywords that are vital to pass the ATS software, and using a professionally designed template, keep it simple, makes the process of college resume creation much easier and helps avoid hidden technical pitfalls. That's my presentation, y'all. I really appreciate Ryan giving me this opportunity to speak to you guys. Again, I know it's not the most entertaining presentation, right? But it's so critical, and you'll get the job that you want. And I know it. And just keep your heads up. If you apply and you maybe don't get called back on 6, 7, 8 jobs, it's okay, right? Just keep pushing and tailoring your resumes to certain positions, and you'll get something there. And then let me tell you, once you get your first job and you get your professional experience and you stay in that job for 2 to 3 years, it becomes increasingly easier to get more interviews for your second, third, and fourth jobs, because you have a lot of experiences to talk about in the position that you were in. Thanks so much. Any questions, y'all, before I leave? Always remember, my office is open, dudes. It's my job to get more students into this office. And let me tell you, I don't have any students come into this office, okay? And it makes me crazy. So come in, schedule an appointment with me, and I promise you I'll get something on that resume for you to be proud of. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you. What's the best way for students to make an appointment? Is it just to stop by, or
Yes, stop by Career Center at csupueblo.edu. Right now I'm hiring my staff, and so you can always give me my name is Jason, Jason. You'll see it on my little Zoom thing, and there's a period in that, so jason.engle at csupueblo.edu. I'm lucky, dudes. I've worked in a lot of different jobs. I've been in the military before, but this job, careers, getting people jobs, this is my passion, and I promise you I'll do my best to help you guys out. So just get in contact with me.
perfect. And then do you help students get work study jobs on campus ever?
Yeah, work study jobs, we have access to look at those. Those are very easy to get, so I can show you on where to look for those all the time. I'm currently on a council building out paid internships as well. And so a lot of internships, as you all know, are non-paid, but I've written a grant that was just recently passed to make every internship we offer, even if it's non-paid through that company, to get you paid through grant money in CSU Pueblo. So definitely, whether it's work study, non-work study, internships, or field placements for professional positions, I got your back.
That's great. If you guys don't have any other questions, I'll let you guys head out of here. But Jason, thank you so much for putting this on. I really appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Good luck, you all.
Bye, guys.